everyone. My name is Aiyana Eason. This is my Week 5 presentation. Students are experiencing behavioral issues. Some will experience dropping out of school, referrals, repeating a grade, and suspensions. These negative consequences are not providing strategies to support students' behavior at school. Therefore, the main research topic is effectiveness of positive behavioral interventions to support PBIS in reducing racial disparities and school suspensions. The research question would be, how does the PBIS approach reduce racial disparities and school suspensions in a high school environment? The importance of PBS begins with creating an equity-focused approach to support students' behavioral needs. It's not just targeted negative consequences. The PBIS approach aims to create a positive student culture and provide a safe, effective learning environment for all students. The impact of PBIS will be reducing behavioral issues and suspension rates. It aims to reduce poor behavior in schools by encouraging positive behaviors. The importance of the research question is that schools are having issues with students being suspended and targeted because of their race and identity. Therefore, suspensions and detentions at schools are unfairly affecting the minority student population groups. The suspensions and referrals are not providing the positive strategies that the students need in order to succeed. The first research study expresses how PBS positively impacts the middle and high school environment in a school district in Indiana. The data was collected for school suspensions, arrest of minority students in the school district. Data will be collected on the minority students who got referrals and detentions and suspensions. After the data collection, the district and educators realized the PBIS approach is needed in order to have equitable discipline for all students. The PBIS approach was tested in high school and 2 middle schools, then realized the PBIS was needed, and the attendance rose, the suspension rate lowered, the arrest rates lowered. The second research study explains the racial disparities at schools in the US, especially with African American students, Latinx students, and Indigenous students. Educators realized how schools need to use restorative practices. The PBIS approach will provide training for educators to have equity-focused classrooms and make sure the minority students feel comfortable. The procedure begins with interviewing, questioning about racial equity and school discipline. The data is collected from interviews. The educators express their personal opinions on this approach. The educator realized how the school districts need to provide more effective approaches and training for staff. The potential method will be a qualitative approach, which will explore the insights of the student's behavior and school environment and the staff members at high schools. This approach will express how minority students are being treated at schools and how their behaviors lead up to their school suspensions. The perceptions of the staff members will be examined to figure out why and who sends the students to school suspensions. This is an example and a potential method. The research question is presented, then the method will be 4 local high schools from different school districts, and the focus group interview questions will be outlined. The procedure will be 20 students, 20 educators. The students will be in the focus group interview as well as the educators, but separately. The focus group will be audio recorded for data collection and data analysis. The results will be insights of diverse viewpoints of the students and educators towards the effectiveness of PBIS. This qualitative approach will include interviews and understanding the students' experiences. For interviews, open-ended questions would be beneficial, small sample group sizes as well. By observing the individuals in the interview in a natural environment is important, and there's a flexibility of factor that will be data collection from different perspectives and experiences from individuals. The informed consent is very important to all individuals. According to the American Psychological Association, Section 802 is important in how it talks about informed consent to research, and the individuals in research studies have the right to know the risks and procedures, and individuals can have the right to step away from that study if the environment is uncomfortable and the research questions are too sensitive. While exploring the sensitive topics or too personal questions, researchers can be mindful to protect the individual's privacy. Another section would be 401. Another section would be 301, will be essential in this case because the studies mention different population groups, therefore the researchers cannot engage unfair discrimination. If individuals are underage in the study, it is crucial to notify the parents or their guardians to get informed consent. The potential ethical issues will be uncomfortable environment, the interviewing process, informed focus interview groups. The individuals will have ability to share private information outside of the study. And another factor to consider is how the data is managed, how it's stored, private information. The individuals responding should be using appropriate language, not trigger anyone in the group, and avoid sensitive topics. The conclusion would be awareness of PBIS approach, how it's important in schools. Educators need to realize judging the students' behavior based on race is not appropriate. The PBIS will allow students to feel comfortable in school environments and gain positive strategies to assist their behaviors. The PBIS approach varies by state in the U.S. In 2023, about 25,000 schools across the U.S. use PBIS. The PBIS approach will be beneficial to all schools to treat minority students equally. The training of PBI approach towards educators is needed, and all schools need PBIS for a positive, safe school environment. Thank you for listening, and here are my references.